This podcast is rated R for restricted. Under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian. Mission success.
Aren't you glad you have a job that isn't in the movie industry, guys?
Isn't that? Oh, wait.
What was it? Who said this, though? Who said it? Was it George Lucas?
It was Francis Ford Coppola, I think. He said it.
No, but it was like where one of the directors, maybe it was, shit.
Was it from this movie we just watched?
No, it was one of the books, one of the interviews where they just said any industry is like this.
That's not true.
In the industry, medical, whatever that you're
this. Yeah, didn't we talk about this a little while ago?
See these problems. Yeah, you're going to have these problems, you know. But anyway, it still is particularly crazy. With the film, So
I mean, I just can't. Like, I sometimes I just can't with actors. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Who's worse than this one though for you?
You know what I mean?
Wait, before we get into it, because I got questions for you guys.
Honestly, they're so cool. I honestly, to me, I'm like, are they really like that? You know what I mean? Like, that's how they live their lives every day, where they like thinking this, like, you know.
Yes.
That's really how they are.
I think the successful ones get to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe so. Like,
so what do we watch? What do we watch?
It makes you go there. Yeah.
What did you watch, TC?
I watched that documentary about some movie we made once.
Forced you to watch, right? Because
by the way, I'm very happy to watch it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Why are you saying that sarcastically?
It was fucking awesome.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right, so we watched Hearts of Darkness. TC gets to go first this week.
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought it was awesome.
Yeah. So this is the documentary made after Apocalypse Now came out. Actually, it was like years later, 1991.
Right.
So John and TC, you guys hadn't seen this before, right?
I think
had
I've
not
seen
seen
at
this
least
before.
parts of it a long time ago.
Okay.
But I don't. So some of it seems.
And
familiar,
for the
but
record, TC liked Apocalypse Now, as did I, and John was a little more negative on it.
I was a little lukewarm. I wouldn't say I was cold.
Tepid. He was
Tepid.
Tepid.
Is good.
Yeah.
Tepid.
Yeah, tepid.
So TC,
this thing was all. I mean, all I kept thinking was like, you know, you just don't get to like do this anymore, right? Like, there's, you know, like. I guess if you made your own independent film, you kind of could, but like, I don't know,
the
man.
studios wouldn't want that kind of possible bad
Oh,
PR.
in studio, you're never getting this. You kidding me? It's so fucking ironed out. Like, and even when it's, you know, not going to plan, it's still got some kind of plan, right?
it's got
like,
some rails.
Yeah, right.
Or
Like,
also,
this
they
shit
really
was
don't want you to
off
know
the
it's
rails.
not. Yeah.
Yeah. This shit was off the rails. I really like someone who's just like, you know, completely insecure, even though they're a stud.
Who? Are we talking about Marty or are we talking about
Francis?
Francis?
Or all the
I mean,
actors
both.
or what?
Both.
Everybody.
Both. No, I was talking about Francis, but
Okay.
you know, the actors, that was just a whole sidebar. But no, I thought it was very, first of all, great idea to have the wife doing all this the shit on the side. Like, okay, can't deal with you. Need you to do something. But by the way, it's going to be awesome because she obviously is a big thinker too, and a writer, right? Because she sat down and wrote all this shit. Like, and then I really liked that whole behind the scenes, right? It's a behind the scenes that we don't usually get. It's, you know, usually for behind the scenes, you're just watching
And even
shit go
like
down,
the taped
right?
audio that Francis didn't
But
know
those
was being
audio
taped,
recordings, I know, and some of those, some of that, like just him trying to direct and like Dennis Hopper not listening was.
He's like, you need to shut up. I'm trying to tell you what the reason is.
amazing.
It was so good. I was like,
That
this is
was
awesome.
such an immense amount of patience.
I know.
I was
And like,
just-
it was almost like they must have had some sort of respect for each other by then.
Yeah,
because
but-
they were talking to each other like it was no big deal, right? Like he's not at work. Dennis Hopper,
but
right?
Or I think Francis is like freaking out internally, but he's just trying
And
really
externally.
hard.
What?
And externally,
but in the moment with these like with Dennis, he's trying really hard.
He's trying.
Like,
He was working right then.
Yeah,
you know, he's
right,
actually trying to be the director.
Yeah, and Dennis is just, oh my God.
I thought it was, I thought so.
was
But the
amazing.
combination of like, you know, I think this was a really good doc because they had that separate side story, or it wouldn't have even been able to exist. Like, you'd only get so far with, you know, showing them shoot stuff. And so there was like this narrative of what was going on the side that was the real story. And then we got to like see all these cool things that were going on set, which, mind you, was probably a short small percentage of like all the really shitty things that they filmed on their set, right?
But
like
they went ahead
like
and put some pretty the unflattering audio in there where like Francis is like, he's not dead until we say he's dead, or what he's talking about having a heart attack.
He's one of those guys.
He's like, talking to the doctors, they said maybe he's good for.
So there's a commentary track on this documentary, and the only reason he did it is because he feels so bad listening
about
to that one section.
Oh, really?
That he's like, the movie, he's like, I did say it, I'm not saying I didn't say it, but the movie puts it in such a way that I want to like clarify that I do care about Martin Sheen and his wife and his family.
I mean, for me, I wasn't even like worried about it. I was like, he's in the middle of, dude. He's in the middle of fucking production. No, he's in the middle of fucking production.
Yeah. He put the movie over Martin Sheen in that quote.
Yeah, but they all do. They're nuts.
Yeah.
But it's
totally
like Quixote, right?
I don't care if we can just prop him up.
Yeah,
as long as
let's weekend at Bernie's him. Fuck it. We need to roll.
They don't give a fuck. I mean, because he was so stressed. I can totally picture. He was just completely anxiety stressed. He's millions of dollars in the hole.
I just don't think like taking that, like saying that's out of context or whatever. That he didn't.
It's not even out of context. It's just out of like he was out of body at that point. I think with like emotion and stress.
And his whole film's going to collapse, but he's still willing to put Martin at risk in that moment.
Oh yeah, totally.
And it totally.
Although
I
have a feeling he seemed like the kind of guy that thought extravagantly.
Right,
didn't really do extravagantly, right?
So, question for you guys: Did you, the way the movie was edited, think that the heart attack came about because of that day of drinking?
I think so. That's what I thought.
It made it sort of look.
I thought it was maybe cocaine.
Was kind of the climax.
Cocaine related.
Did make it seem that way?
I thought it was cocaine related, but that didn't happen
because of that.
So I don't know exactly, but on the commentary track, Francis Ford Coppola blames the heart attack on the fact that he smoked 3 packs of cigarettes a day.
Entirely possible, and also in the heat. Right.
That's also fine. But you're still. I mean, he's like, it's his fault. He had a heart attack. Okay, that still doesn't come off very good.
Yeah.
But I mean, one thing that did also like, I think you mentioned when we watched the film that there was this. A rumor, or there's this sort of legend that Francis egged Charlie Sheen on in that scene, and it doesn't seem like that's what happened at all. Or what's his name? Charlie?
Marty.
Shit, Marty.
They kept calling him Marty.
Yeah,
and it took me a bit to figure that out. So it's Charlie Marty.
So that's why I say Charlie, right? But in that scene, it really looked like it was all Martin doing this, and the way they did it in the documentary, it didn't look like. If anything, it looked like Francis was trying to calm him down or pull it back a little bit.
I mean, I feel like he was, but he wasn't too, because he would like shout at them to like do something.
Right. So
right. Which means like he's in the mirror. Yeah. Right. Scream! I miss you or some shit.
So there are recorded quotes of like things that Francis said to Marty that were very negative, but they weren't in that. Like in this documentary, because that scene, even though it showed you a lot of extra footage, was pretty heavily edited too.
Right, so that's interesting
because you figure they showed us him getting hurt, and then the next shot was him completely covered in blood, which took him a bit to get there because he was rubbing it everywhere.
And they cut, right? And they cut it. And they yelled cut.
And if they're going to edit favorably, why would they put the heart attack quote back in the documentary?
Well, because I think he's always exploring authenticity, right? He talks about being pretentious or not being pretentious, so he worries about these things. So
I guess so.
Honestly, I bet you his wife. I bet you his wife probably said like, "These are the things that we should probably put in." I remember when it happened.
So what I can tell you is that another team of editors did this documentary, and he did have final cut on it. But his justification at the time was that this thing was only going to run on TV twice. So go ahead and put it in there,
No, that seems such like a cop out.
It seems likely. It's that does sound bad, but like
I'm amazed they put it in too. But at the same time, it really actually did anchor the narrative part of like how crazy he was getting, right? So that's what they were trying to bring us to, right? I get
it. It was fascinating to watch, and it's really strange. Well, go on, TC. I don't want to interrupt your thoughts on this.
No, I mean, I thought it was really good. I thought it was edited for a documentary pretty well because it did tell a story, and it kind of followed along his insanity to the script of the character going into insanity and the actor going into insanity. It was just like this. Like the fact the movie is the way it is because they were all fucking losing their minds out there in the Philippines.
But isn't it also crazy how good the movie is despite the fact that they're all out of control and losing their minds? You would think that if you're going nuts and you're in the middle of nowhere and you have no direction, that the movie would be totally
so many
shitty.
days of footage, though.
That's
I mean, they were
true.
shooting forever. Like,
Yeah.
You know, there were days that went by where fucking nothing got done.
Yeah.
You know, and like it scared me to think too. Now, as like I start dabbling into writing a tiny bit, you start to realize how I couldn't imagine even getting to pre-production without a finished idea.
But
You know what I mean?
They
Like,
had a script. Though.
No, but like as
Well,
like
they had a script,
even-
but Francis himself was saying he was coming in there.
but he was coming in and writing shit as he went. Like
And-
I
and
don't,
there's this-
I wouldn't
this-
allow that. I don't think.
There's
I feel
one
like, you
quote
can't
by
do that.
George,
Yeah.
right? That like George Lucas was saying. I forget how he said it.
Oh,
I
yeah,
should've
he
written
said it in
down.
a very
But he said,
condescending
like,
way,
well,
to
you
be
just have
honest.
Francis just does one thing after another, and then you
Yeah.
end up where you are, or something like that. Just like
nowhere
how
without a
it
story
wasn't-
and nowhere to
wasn't
get
structured.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, no structure.
If
and
there was
way
no
to get back.
story through line, then you feel like you're floating through a movie or something like
and,
that.
And that still comes. That's what I still when I criticize the movie, I feel like I don't get the story. You know, I don't really. You know, Brando's character is just silly. You know, it doesn't go anywhere.
I loved what. Oh, by the way,
it's a big deal
Brando
he's
sounds
going
like
to
a
kill
fucking
him,
prick,
doesn't even
huh?
make any
Dude,
sense.
Brando's a
yeah.
fucking
Brando's
idiot.
an asshole.
Oh my
Such
God,
an
yeah.
idiot.
Brando's an
He
asshole.
almost ruined the movie. He arguably
swallowed a
did
bug.
ruin the movie.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
an idiot.
I
know.
swallowed a bug. Ha ha! I'm hilarious. That'll be
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
Put that in the movie.
I can't
Or
think
just
any
like
more
where-
dialogue.
Yeah, it's like what is it? He said, I can't do any more dialogue.
Yeah,
today."
I can't think about any more dialogue. Yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
you fucking.
I also
weirdo.
thought that scene with Dennis Hopper like was kind of in between the Marlon Brando stuff. So I was like, maybe Dennis sees Marlon like getting his way by like arguing with the director. So he was like, I'll talk back to the director. And then Francis was like, no, Dennis, fuck you. Do what I say.
But what
Dennis
I
was
picked
just
up.
coked out of his mind.
Oh, he was
I
all
think. I
fucked
don't-
up, I think.
I don't
Yeah,
know
he
what
was
it
all
but-
fucked up.
Yeah, he was just, he looked
They
just
were all
fucked
speeded
up.
out, I think.
Yeah.
And,
Holy
yeah.
cow.
So I have questions for you, John. But TC, sorry. I got
Okay.
questions.
No, all good. I think that what I noticed about that Brando thing was that they essentially he was worried about Hopper meeting Brando, so I don't think they had really done any of that at first by that moment in the doc, because they made it seem like Brando hadn't met Hopper yet. You know what I mean? So like, and then they see them on set and they're all going crazy. And you're like, what is going on here?
He's like, I mean, I did like that part where he's saying, "Yeah, I didn't know what I kind of wanted them to get together, but I didn't know what would
Didn't know
happen."
what to do, right? Yeah, and I don't know, man. I think that there is always an acceptable amount of like fucking around,
Sure.
right? Because you're supposed to be having fun. You're making a movie, but I don't think anybody can do that anymore like he did at the time. Like, just
I don't think
show
anyone
up
was
to
having
some.
fun.
I don't
like,
know.
people were
I think
fucking
they
around,
were.
but
They
ev-
were.
You
They
think?
were.
Well,
yeah,
I think they were just-
this is what they
but-
love to do. They love to do
I
this
don't know
shit.
if they were having fun, but they were just like, you know,
I don't know, man. Anytime
drugged all
you're
the time
bankrolled, you're
and-
partying, you got nothing to fucking do
guess.
but like shoot. And,
But
I mean,
don't you
it's-
think the fact that they fired what's his name, like Harvey Keitel, like would put everyone on edge, being like, "Oh, dude, we're not guaranteed work here. They could fire
but
us at
that's
any
the thing
fucking
in
time."
Hollywood, you're never guaranteed work. They'll just float on to the next film.
But that's
They don't give
to
a
my
fuck.
point. Then you wouldn't be able to relax, like doing all the drugs and all that stuff. To me, that would be like paranoid
Oh, dude,
city,
it's only
right?
the actors. I don't think that usually the crew. And it didn't seem like Francis was fucked up often.
No, but it
Right?
sounded like the guy who
No.
plays the
He's
surfer
just
was getting his
naturally
drugs
crazy.
from the crew.
Yeah.
So the crew were doing
Well, the
drugs.
crew can always get a guy, right? But I mean, I don't know. You're right. There's like a PA. They probably sent them into town and was like, find some shit. Honestly, there are people that work for the actors too that'll know a guy, right? So I mean, they could be considered crew, I guess. I don't know. Either way, they seem like they were having a blast sometimes and just miserable other times for sure. And so they did a good job of showing that in this.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah.
I really liked the fact that his wife was so like on board. I think that's probably one of the reasons he was able to do shit like that. Because she'd always be like, "Fuck it, go for it." Well, isn't that what makes you creative?
It's like, I don't
couldn't
like
believe
Rich
some of that
House.
shit.
I don't like all this complications of being.
She was like,
wealthy.
"Yeah, but
It's
remember
all
when you
right,
went to
it's
school and you took a test and you were supposed to get an A, but you got a B? Well, you still got a B." Right? like you're like not thinking this through. You've already made a great movie. You just have to like finish it. Come on. Right? Like no matter what, that movie was going to be successful in
certainly
some sort because
comes
they had
across
crazy
as-
shit.
I mean, you don't see much of her.
No.
But she just comes across as entirely reasonable all the time.
She
which
did.
is
Yeah,
impressive.
kind of an enabler, though, a little bit.
Maybe.
Wow.
Well, yeah, sure.
But he's an artist, you know?
Yeah, but
I
he
guess
was
I can see
endangering
it.
people's lives, and she's like, "Who gives a shit? Let's
Yeah,
fucking
but you know
make a
what, though?
movie."
Hollywood
That's
was
fair. You're
different
right.
then.
Okay, I
They
take it
didn't.
back a little
Hollywood
bit.
was different then. They always endangered people back then.
Yeah, but not like
So
I don't
it was
know.
acceptable.
This movie is, I don't know. There was what?
You can't compare it to now, is all I'm saying. I'm just saying.
I agree.
But
this is up there. Like,
in
just
some
because
other
it's
worlds.
old doesn't mean it compares to other ones. This one's above other ones too that were also
it's
dangerous,
scary.
but this one is
Right.
top
he
tier
had some
dangerous.
down ass people on that crew, or like Dennis Hopper said, desperate.
Yeah.
Right.
One of the two. But yeah, I thought it was great. I thought I would recommend it to anybody. I thought it was a good look into what filmmaking probably used to be. I think if you were to look into some other doc that shows what filmmaking is now and compare the two, it'd be drastically different. But
it wouldn't be good.
Likely,
All right. Then the crew sat on the green screen
see
until
how
lunch.
much fun they're having? Yeah, you see how stressed out and how little fun they're having? Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, their back hurts, their knee hurts, everything hurts. Yeah, right. Anyways, I'm done.
John, can I ask you a question to start your portion of the review for this?
Sure. What is your question?
How did this movie change your opinion on Apocalypse Now?
Oh, good question.
I think it just sort of deepened it. I think it's just
deepened
more like
it, meaning further to the
it's
negative.
sort of like further the way, not negative, like more like the way I was thinking of it. Like, it's really amazing what happened. It makes sense why I didn't get any sense of what the characters were, or what they were doing, or why the story didn't make much sense, because they were
so you
just
felt vindicated.
sort of in that, but it's still amazing. I think it's weird. I want to like Francis more than I do. I kind of want to. I want to like really appreciate what he's
like a nut.
doing and being crazy. But he just comes across as
He comes across as like bipolar, because he was in some mania.
I should admire the guy. Like, for
things.
him to sit there and work so hard with like Brando and Dennis Hopper and like how he's fighting for everything, and everything's going to shit around him, and the helicopters are going away, and then they're coming back, and
and a typhoon, and then Brando won't act, and then oh god,
right, the typhoon, all the sets are destroyed, and then he gets Brando there, and Brando is what he is, and holy shit. I don't know. I'd like to have more respect for the guy, but he still comes off as sort of a jerk in some weird way. Like, or
it's because he talks a lot about this in the commentary track. He fears pretension, so I think he comes off as pretentious, right? He talks about trying to make like an experience. The way this documentary starts too doesn't help. Where he's like, this movie isn't about Vietnam; it is Vietnam. Like, how much more pretentious can you get than that?
You guys. I know that it was a little life threatening, but you guys were not actually killing.
Yeah, they could have left at any point in time, and like the through lines between like, I guess like we weren't welcome. We were bringing expensive equipment. We didn't know what we were doing. We had too much money, too much free time, etc. It kind of lines up, but
there's these parallels. There's some parallels with Vietnam, but and they make a lot of sense. Like, we didn't know what we were doing. That all makes some sense. But to say it doesn't strike a really good tone for starters.
And to be fair, when he was 68, when he recorded the commentary track, he was embarrassed by almost everything he said in this documentary.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So he's grown past his
maybe that's what
his
comes
younger
he's
self.
But he's also, but maybe he's always uncomfortable with himself.
He is. That is true.
Then
yeah,
he was probably
he still is.
He still is, and
he just hates watching himself. He doesn't like anything that he ever says.
Right. He thinks everything he did sucks.
I really wish I could see that as just a.
He's probably exhausting to know
that here's this guy who is the way he is, and he still pulls this stuff off. Wow. Like, I wish I could root for him more, and it's I wanted to root for him more than I do. I don't know.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense. Like look at what this guy's doing while he's dealing with all of his own stuff.
It's really hard when he holds the making his movie above literally anything else, including other people's lives. Like, that's really hard to get over.
Right. It is, and he does it in a way.
Because who gives a fuck? I love movies, right? We're doing a fucking years long and decades long podcast.
Right. He'll say stuff afterwards about it, but it is all in service of his art. Everything, his patience, his fighting, whatever he's doing, and it's really amazing how he does it. That he does it at all, but it's all in service of his film. And
also, I think it comes across as like, and I don't know if this is true or not, but he's putting up his own money. And to me, in this movie, it seemed like that wasn't out of necessity, but it was out of like becoming the center of attention for the movie.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Oh, you think?
But yeah,
I don't know. It's like whenever it's a
good point.
He did mention like he wanted to make a blockbuster.
Right.
Well, I don't know about. He didn't really try.
At least the theory was that what they was put in the documentary is he had to put up his own movie because no one would bank a movie about
give
Vietnam.
him any more.
Because they were in pre-production. It was just that it would what they wanted to do was too costly in the first iteration.
I didn't know
that.
I somehow got the impression it was more about how you couldn't bank the film.
No, because Orson Welles, he brought it to pre-production. They had like a budget for it, but then they started doing like the shot list and like doing exactly like how
They
much
just
everything
thought that it
would cost.
wouldn't stay under budget.
Wait, I didn't know that there was any real connection between what Orson Welles did and what Francis
No, he was
did.
initially hired on and then moved on to do what was the movie?
So I mean,
Citizen Kane.
I don't know if it took place in Vietnam. So now that I'm thinking about it, the Vietnam thing might have been a factor, but they just said that it was like a money thing. Like the shot list was too extravagant for doing Heart of Darkness.
Oh, okay. Like that's why they wouldn't do it.
And they did want to go to Vietnam too, which is
or they just
insane.
didn't want a movie. I just heard that. My impression was they didn't want. No one would do a movie about Vietnam. It was too political. Just wasn't going to make some money.
But it seemed like every time, to me at least, when he was talking about how he wanted to make like a blockbuster movie that everyone wanted to see, it was kind of overshadowed by him talking like randomly about like how this is going to be an experience, how we're going to win a Nobel Prize for this.
Oh, yeah,
and then
yeah,
it was
yeah.
all kind of about what he wanted to do, and there was that was impossible to convey to people because he couldn't explain it to us. He couldn't explain it to the camera.
No,
it was all just
but
like whatever he felt at the
persuasive.
moment.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
But it was always just like his
feeling.
feeling.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
He got lucky. Really.
Yeah, it reminded me of that scene with the writer that he's talking about it, how and he had so much dialogue that he was proud of in the script, and then he probably had to really struggle. He didn't mention it, but he had to struggle with how it all got chopped up and not used. But then he goes in to talk to, there's that great part where he talks about going in and talk to like really hash it out with Francis. And that's where the Nobel Prize quote comes from, I think.
We don't need gasoline. We're going to win.
Yeah, that guy was funny.
Yeah.
That guy really was funny.
I liked him because he was also there's a different kind of enthusiasm about his work that was just nice.
I know. It was very honest,
He was
but
like
like
reading his own quotes and
yeah,
just like,
he was
being,
like impressed
happy
with
about
himself.
It. Not
Yeah.
not like
That was
like,
cute.
like, can you believe this? That I'm this good? It's unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And you're like, it is crazy because you don't seem like the guy that would be this good. But yeah, sure. He's got, you know what he had? He had that like teddy bear personality where he's just, you can tell he's a nice guy, right? Like you
but
can see him
gotta
from a mile away.
he wrote all this dialogue for Kurtz and whatever, and that's just all gone. And instead, you've got whatever it is.
Oh,
that
I loved what
Brando
he said
comes
too.
up with.
He's like, I came back, fixed the script for him. Like it was no big deal.
Because that's what I do.
Yeah, right. It was awesome. I thought that was funny as hell.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then
cool.
Francis would shit on the script, or not, at least wasn't saying positive things about it. But
He's a nut.
He's a nut,
Yeah.
and it was probably most of the time high. It didn't seem it in the film.
I don't know if he was.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell with everything else.
I mean,
he's got going.
it's
If he had a
generally
drug
accepted that
problem, too.
actors kind of just do whatever the fuck that is they want to do within reason.
Right.
So it's not unheard of that someone would get fucked up and not
Yeah, and I don't know. Maybe it's just hard to tell, relatively speaking, because you see, like, Dennis Hopper. He's really high.
He's really fucked up.
Yeah,
Surfer guy.
He's really fucked up.
Everybody else is stone cold sober next to it.
Damn, that's true.
It's kind of hard to the contrast there.
Shit, was he fucked up, man?
Oh man, that was amazing. I really like the cut in the documentary.
When he dies, when it dies, when it
When he
dies, man,
dies,
we
man.
die.
Right. That was a great cut. Wrong. It was just a great cut in the documentary where they go from him talking to Francis to that scene in the movie. That was another really good moment in the documentary.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is Hopper kind of did that act again and again and again later on too.
Yeah.
Like I remember Hopper always kind of having that like energy in other shitty 90s movies.
I think he continued doing drugs his entire career.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
Have you guys seen Blue Velvet?
No.
That's
that
top
was
tier
like
Dennis Hopper in that movie.
David Lynch. Is there a man scene when he does?
He's a little more intense.
Crazy?
He's like a crazy redneck that loves Pabst Blue Ribbon and sucks on like some oxygen that like gets him really high. And
Jesus.
he's a sexual deviant. It's a pretty crazy movie. And of course, there's the classic Speed. Who can forget Speed?
Speed. Yeah.
It's a good movie.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
The bus can't go below 50. Come on.
55, I think.
Oh, is it 55? Shit.
Might have been.
Yeah.
Definitely not
Yeah,
60.
Could have
though.
been 50. Could have been 50. You need a little bit of a range.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah, and then you got, they were going to do the third one with an airplane,
Oh,
couldn't
really?
go below a certain speed.
Couldn't go
Or
below a certain
crash.
altitude.
That's not a bad idea, John.
So, I mean, you're going to die at some point. I get
it's
it. I see it. Yeah. This needs to be written, John.
Yeah, right.
Get the whiteboard.
If Sandra Bullock didn't fuck up that second one, we would have had this airplane movie
It
by
was
now.
Keanu Reeves that fucked it up by now. Or maybe it was all fucked up to begin with, and that's why
Yeah.
Keanu bailed
He
out.
left. It was a terrible movie. What else we got, John?
I don't know. Yeah, this is definitely worth watching. The movie and its making is really it's an amazing sort of bit of movie stuff.
That's some good. That's a box line right there, John. Amazing movie stuff. Excellent.
It was some good movie stuff.
Bit of movie stuff. That's
bit of movie stuff. Oh, it's even more fancy.
A bit of movie stuff.
A little nuance there in the way I say it.
A little nuance of a movie stuff. I see.
Anyway, it's amazing to see these characters or these actors that talk, like reflect and talk about it a little bit too. Like I think that was well done. They all seem to like him. All the actors.
He just came off of The Godfathers in the conversation, so they're in awe of him.
Right. So,
that
may be
probably more
that
correct.
Could be
Plus, they're in the middle of this beautiful area. They're like, this is going to be fucking awesome. There's helicopters all over the place. We're exploding everything.
That little nugget about him doing a deal and getting those helicopters was something else. That is some serious.
Only $1,000 a day for a fleet of helicopters? That's a fucking steal.
That is a insane steal.
I wonder what else.
Can you imagine when they were in pre-production and they figured that out? They're like, I bet if we just went and talked to them, we could just pay for them.
Look, we'll make you. You like Hollywood, right?
Yeah, right.
Hollywood.
Hey, little carrot.
And then they hired an entire tribe to do like manual labor, and the one producer's like,
I hope
we didn't, take advantage of the situation.
I don't think we took advantage of them. I mean,
you're like, well, you should have checked on it first, you fuck. You're the guy with the money. You piece of shit.
Peanuts.
Like, you could have given him at least another $1 a day.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, Jesus
Christ.
Christ.
Going rate, you know?
Yeah. Then they look at fucking Francis. They're like, have you met this guy? There's no more money. Right. Yeah. Like, they're getting $1 a day, all right?
I was surprised they had money for the fireworks on the 200th day there with the little
that seems
spinning
strange.
thing.
You have cake and fireworks each time. Like, where's the budget for
100th
that?
day? Yeah.
Right. 200th day. They had
it's all part of the same budget that he owes.
Yeah.
He's like, thanks for spending my money on my fucking celebration, you asshole.
I know, right?
Give me a fireworks sign. That's great. Yeah. We'll put that in the film.
All that stuff's reusable, right? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we never know who paid for what and when. And
he paid for it all, and he made it back.
He might have.
Movie made $150 million.
He might have paid. He might have bought that fucking party.
Yeah, I don't know. This movie, I don't know how I feel about this. I used to love it when I was younger, but it pisses me off a little bit more now because it makes me think less of the movie itself.
Oh, because you realize they didn't have any fucking clue what they were doing.
Yeah, and like the part that really gets me the most, like him being an asshole and endangering people, that was always assumed. Seeing in action is definitely more bothersome just because like he's, when you think about it, just like, oh, he put people's lives in danger. You have that in your head. It's not realistic. Right. It's just a thought. It happens all the time.
Does that probably.
But then when you hear what it takes to actually do that and how, like, I don't know, how much of a piece of shit this guy is. Like, I have no other words besides, like, he's a piece of shit. Like, I think he is a piece of shit. Because of this documentary.
Like oftentimes I'll be on here and I'll say, these people in Hollywood are just so far up their own ass.
Right. Well,
that's exactly what I would be.
TC, there he goes again. Talking about the talent.
But this is different because he's putting people's lives in danger.
But this is what I would call one of those types, right? Where they don't even think about it. They're so wrapped up in their bullshit that they don't even think about the danger.
Well, think about where he is. I mean,
because all he wants to do is to finish the film, so he's willing to risk it.
After Godfather, which is again like known as one of the best movies ever.
Is it number 2 on the list?
Right? Yeah.
Right? Oh, is it?
It's up there, right? Number 2 and 3 or whatever.
I think so, yeah.
You got to think of where his head's at after that kind of success.
And The Conversation was also before that and a very good movie.
Right?
Yeah, he was doing whatever he wanted. Like you said, access to too much money. It makes sense. And he was he put himself in a place where it's easy to go nuts.
Right? He probably felt like he was... The standards, he obviously...
I don't know if you heard him speak.
Right,
I don't think that's true.
He didn't feel flawless, but he probably felt like the standards for him at that point were like...
Right. Well, that's why he's like, when he is talking about we're going to make a movie that's going to win the Nobel Prize or whatever. I mean, he was just, all right, now we're going to do something even better.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
But then he's like, but I don't know what that is in the slightest.
And I have no story. Yeah, exactly.
Ah, man.
But I mean the thing that really, like that's, all that stuff, it's mostly about Francis Ford Coppola, but, that I think the way they edit the ending of this movie is really good. Especially when you see what they had to work with. That Brando stuff, fuck Brando.
Oh, he's miserable.
Why didn't they fire him? There must have been some clause to be like,
because they already paid $4 million a day.
He refused to act the entire first week. There had to have been something like, crazy. The dude won't get in front of a camera.
There's other parts where they're like, look, people are going to go see this movie because Brando's in it. After The Godfather, you got to think that that's a draw. that might be a big deal. Like if because of the Godfather,
so he
it's
showed up and
Coppola
didn't give a
Brando
fuck.
working together again. So you got to go out and see Apocalypse Now because it's Coppola and Brando again. And I think I imagine that have to be consideration too.
So he's
just
like,
the
I don't give a
actual
fuck.
drama.
You need me. This movie
Right.
sucks.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
And then,
they already had him
or he
down
showed
there,
up and he's
but-
like, I don't even have an ending, man. I got nothing to do. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know who is. What am I going to do? What are you going to help me? You got to help me, man. I don't know what to do. We're just going to put the camera on you, man. We're just going to let it go. And all of a sudden he's talking like Dennis Hopper.
I mean, it's not like that was Brando. Even in The Godfather, he wasn't great to work with then. I mean, he wasn't reading. He had to
The
have his
reason he
lines on
wasn't
cue
in a lot of
cards and-
movies before this for like years is because everyone in the industry didn't want to work with him.
Right.
But he was still a draw for the audiences because the audience doesn't care how hard somebody
He
is to
could have
work
been a
with.
contender.
Yeah.
Right. Well, again, his role in Godfather was iconic, right? So
Yeah. I mean,
And
just
let's
watching,
be honest, he was old then. So he might have also been kind of losing it.
yeah,
I think, it's from his later movies. He definitely so what Francis's wife said that he was just lazy. That's what she
really?
thought. She knew him pretty well, apparently. And she was just like, yeah, he's just lazy. Like he got old, he's fat, he's lazy. And all
He
he wants to
doesn't do
do
shit.
is do as little amount of work as possible and collect his money. That's all he wants.
Yep. He's retired.
She was,
And he's
in the
thinking to
nicest
himself,
way
you're going to
possible.
get a bunch of money because I'm in this movie. I'm fucking showing up and doing whatever the fuck I want. I'm old.
I know there's. Have you guys seen The Island of Dr. Moreau with him?
yep.
and Val
I saw that in
Kilmer?
the theaters, dude, when I was like a teenager. It was the worst.
So I think there's a documentary. There is a documentary about that. That's pretty good too, because it was another craziness sort of thing with Brando just not giving a shit,
Mhm.
Wow.
and Val Kilmer, and I think that the original director like went and hid out. They were like filming overseas, and he just went out and went native for a while. And they brought in another director.
Jesus.
They didn't know where the original director had went.
Yeah, he's missing. we put in a report, but we've got day 3 going on. So
Yeah,
um,
I need
Yeah,
to see what
that's
that
fucked
documentary was. It was pretty cool.
yeah, these are nice things to watch because you get so caught up in just like the fakeness of the movie, you forget that people are actually putting their lives on the line sometimes.
So it's called Lost Soul: The Doomed Journey of Richard Stanley's Island of Dr. Moreau.
And Richard Stanley just came back and directed a new one recently.
Yeah, he
after-
was out of directing for a long time
Yeah.
after this one, I think. And he's the one that went native. He just
Oh, really?
Or maybe there was a director before then. David Gregory is another. Yeah, I don't know how it all played out. I can't remember. I saw this quite a while ago.
Color Out of Space. It was pretty good. It had Nicolas Cage in it. Came out 3 years ago.
Oh.
Pretty good. Richard Stanley. What are we talking about?
Pretty, I have no
All right,
idea.
talking about this
Insurance?
Hearts of Darkness. We're talking about another movie that just went sideways.
So I
In
think,
of-
yeah, I don't know. Is there a better documentary? The best other documentary I can think of is Blade Runner. That one's really good too. But this one
Yeah.
is more extreme because, like, I don't know, I can't believe they have audio of his phone calls, some of the moments, right?
Right,
Like,
right.
who the hell
No.
records that? It's
His
amazing how
wife,
that
his
exists.
creepy
His
wife,
knowledge
dude.
was recording
Yeah.
that. Yeah. I mean, I would have loved to. Is there another movie you'd love to see a documentary like this on? I would have loved to see one for Chinatown.
Or like The Shining.
Chinatown would be
Shining would have
good.
been
The Shining has a
interesting.
pretty good documentary.
Yeah. Probably more than one.
2001 has a pretty good documentary, but it's not as good as this one. So I think that this one and the Blade Runner one are the two best I've seen.
I mean, this is like its own little movie.
Yeah.
It's got its own narrative. It's got its own little arc.
It gives you one of like the
it's-
darkest windows into movie making for like one of the
Yep.
biggest budget, most
Right,
disastrous
right,
productions
right,
of
right.
history. And you get
It actually came to
That
fruition,
was
right? Because you
successful.
figure the Don
Yeah.
Quixote one, it just failed.
right.
Right. I mean, like, it was just.
But that
it.
was also
So
different
sucked.
because like that was Terry Gilliam at like the end of his career and the budget was low and like et cetera, et cetera. This is
No,
like
no, I know. I'm
height
just
of this
like, at
guy's
least when you
career.
watch this, you're like, okay, at least they made it through.
Yeah.
You know, and so like at least going into it, you know, the disaster can't be that bad because the movie was finished.
It's true.
You know, but yeah, this has got to be one of the best ones for noting all those things, plus having its own story, plus you know, it's like pure entertainment. This thing, especially
Yeah.
if you like the industry or the movies.
And I wish so. There is apparently at the end of the commentary, they said that there was, if you were interested in the post production part, they did a documentary on that too. They cut
wow.
that out from this documentary for time
Because it's too much.
because it's
Oh,
too
right,
much.
'cause it-
But
it
they
was-
did
took years.
edit it, and there was a
I
lot
want
of
to
footage.
watch that one.
Yeah, but they said
Yeah.
the name of it, and it's not on this. Like I have this like 6-disc 4K
it's not on
Blu-ray
there.
thing. It's not on there.
The
I don't know
fuck?
where you can get it. It's not
Oh,
a
we gotta
special
look into
feature
it.
on that. So
Yeah,
that sucked because I was gonna watch it for this, but
that would
it's
have
not
been cool.
available.
Yeah, that was. I bet that was an interesting ride. 'Cause he
Apparently
must have been
less
a
interesting
fucking
than
pain in
the
ass.
other stuff because it's
He
all
must have been a
they're
pain in
they're
the
not in the
ass.
jungle for
Right.
one thing, going nuts. They're like in
True,
an
they're in
editing
like a
room.
nice little room.
Yeah.
Right.
But then
it'd
freaking
still
out
be
over like
interesting.
this doesn't make any fucking sense. What were we thinking? God damn it!
Right. What if we use the doors, man? Oh shit! That just blew it wide open. You know,
Like the whole French scene where he's like all pissed off because the actors weren't good. He's like, this didn't happen. This day just, what did he say? He said, this might as well not have happened.
Oh yeah.
None of
This day.
Everyone
didn't
forget
happen.
about
Yeah,
this
right.
day.
Everyone forget about
Right.
this one's gone. Everyone forget about.
Was he
this
mad at
day,
the
yeah.
actors? I thought he was mad at the production team for spending all the money on the set.
I thought from the
I think he was
documentary
just-
saying-
I think he was just
said that they
melting
got they weren't able to hire good actors. And so he was pissed about that. Like all the French actors.
It's
that-
very
No,
disappointed,
I think
man.
the way it sounded to me was that he wanted to do it lower, like the budget for everything to be lower. So they
Oh.
hired some cheaper actors, which was good. But then the people responsible for the
Oh.
food and the set spent like the most money.
Oh,
so it was,
okay.
they were just like
Sorry.
overspending on it.
Maybe I misinterpreted that line.
So he was
then.
mad
I
at the
interpreted
set?
that line. Of,
So no one
okay.
was fucking
'Cause
monitoring the
actors
budget.
seemed
They were
fine.
just going
They didn't
nuts.
seem bad.
No,
Yeah.
they were
From the-
fine.
I mean,
the
they
dialogue
showed
was
the scene.
really bad. I mean, I thought
Yeah.
that scene didn't make a whole lot of sense watching it. But then again, John's rolling his eyes because he doesn't think any of it makes sense. Fuck you, John.
I mean, it
That
kind
scene
of
made less
does,
sense
and we
than
know
other
that
parts
it
of the
didn't to
movie.
him either when he shits on the ending.
At least
Yeah,
the
this
scenes
grass over
are
here is
self-contained. Like the scene
Yeah.
where they go to like the fishing boat and that whole scene unravels. That scene contained makes sense.
I know,
The
that's
French
fair, that's
plantation
fair.
scene makes no fucking sense.
Right. Yeah.
Even though it's like
I mean-
15 minutes long, I'm just like, what the
They're-
fuck
they're
is
trying
happening
to,
here?
I mean, he has that vague thing of what they're trying to convey. Like, this is what it was like before. This is like the French were
We're
here
traveling
before we
back in
were.
time. That's what the movie's about. We're traveling back in time. Oh, I forgot what that was about. Let's go to something else completely.
Right.
That'll
Yeah,
be
that's
the idea for the movie when when it seems like a good idea on that day. And if not,
On that,
Right.
yeah, that
Right.
was that. When I heard that, I was just like, "Oh, everyone must have hated you." Right? Like, you know what I mean? Like nobody, because when you're sitting out there sweating too, and you're on set and doing all that every day, and this guy's got no idea. He just disappears for 10 hours to write, and you're sitting there in the heat, dude. Fucking Dennis Hopper's over there yelling and screaming at the tree. Fucking,
You don't see
you know
him
what I mean?
yelling,
It's gonna
yelling
be a
at his
nightmare.
actors. I mean, you see him treating them, at least, and again, maybe it's edited
More like
out,
friends.
but
More like friends.
he's pretty respectful to the actors, it seems, as much as he's like stressed out or whatnot.
Yeah, I would agree.
But
But
again,
those are
maybe it's
the
edited.
good moments.
well, it's because he wasn't
I'm sure
asking
there were
them to
other
do
moments.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also true.
All,
He
they were
wasn't
like, "What is
really-
what was it? The
It's
Marty
you.
was like,
Whatever
it's
you are,
you.
it's you.
It's
Yeah,
whatever mood you
it's
are in the
you.
moment."
Yeah.
He must have been like,
What?
"Oh my god, what the
God.
fuck?"
I didn't know Lawrence
Another
Fishburne
one of
was
you guys that doesn't
14.
know what he's doing.
He was
Yeah.
14 years old making
14.
this. I didn't know that. I know he didn't look.
I didn't know
young.
that either.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was crazy.
surprised he was allowed to do that.
What what is he thinking?
You wouldn't
being
be
there
now.
as a 14-year-old?
Although that's not
Holy
true.
cow.
They can go on set. There's
But
a
could they
whole
go
clearance
to the
thing.
Philippines?
I don't know. Maybe if their parents are with them.
I don't think I have very much more. John, do you have book corner this week?
Nah, there's no book here.
book
unless
corner
there's
on
a
a doc.
book on the documentary about
That
the
would be
movie
some
on a
meta
book.
shit. Like yeah,
Yeah.
right.
But there
Yeah.
was a commentary on the documentary, which is kind of strange.
With Francis being uncomfortable and apologetic.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
Eleanor and Francis Ford Coppola. It was recorded separately for some reason. They didn't explain why, but Eleanor's was August 2007, and Francis Ford Coppola's was when he was 68 years old. I didn't do the math, but you
Wow.
could if you feel interested. There you go.
Okay, I have one or two Francis trivia questions for you
Oh,
because I just looked at the IMDb.
I'm not going to do well on this, but go ahead.
Oh, really?
I don't
Not
know.
IMDb, but Wikipedia.
The answer is he's an asshole. Next.
Yeah, right.
Which famous director's movie did Francis help produce? One of the first movie that this director went on to become very famous.
Wasn't it the one about all the cars and stuff with the teenagers?
No,
No,
The Duel or whatever.
no. George Lucas's first one.
That's right.
Yeah.
Did you just look that up?
No,
Or you knew
that's
that?
the teenager
Okay.
one with the cars. What the fuck's the name of that
Oh,
movie?
is it the teenager? That's
Yeah.
THX. That's not teenagers
Oh,
in
no,
cars.
no.
That's a robot. You
Oh,
idiot.
so sorry. George Lucas' second movie is the teenagers
you
in cars.
idiot.
That's right.
Come on, Denny.
Which one am I thinking? You know which one I'm thinking of? It has a fucking Mr. Holland himself in it.
Oh, Richard Dreyfuss.
Richard Dreyfuss.
Yeah.
Great movie, Mr. Holland's
It's
Opus.
funny that's what he's known
stupid
for.
so fast.
Yeah. So Coppola has two famous.
Wait, so let me just say, I
Oh,
got that partially. I was in the right path. It was George Lucas. His second movie was a movie that I can't remember the name of, but it was about teenagers in cars driving around.
Okay, wait,
American Graffiti. There we go.
I'm glad you
Graffiti, yeah,
I'm glad
that's
you.
right,
I was
sorted
close.
that
I just want to
for
say I was
us.
close.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, let's move on. So he has two famous nephews. I'm sure you can name
Nicolas
one of them.
Cage.
Fuck you,
Do
John.
You know the second one. His other is Jason Schwartzman. Is the other nephew of his that's also a
Oh no
well-known actor.
shit.
Yeah.
Schwartzman.
Yep. Now he is also one of his sons is a popular writer and collaborator with what other famous director?
Wait, so say again?
One
Whose
of his sons is a
Francis Ford Coppola's son?
Is yes, one of his
Okay.
sons collaborates a lot with another famous director as a
Couldn't tell
writer.
ya.
Is his last name Coppola?
Yep,
Nicolas Cage's last name isn't Coppola.
I know.
I have no idea, John. Let's
I don't know.
Just spill it.
It's Wes Anderson.
I
He's
knew
a
that.
co-writer.
I knew that.
Oh, he knew it.
I knew that.
Come on.
I didn't know that.
Come on, he didn't know it.
He co-wrote
Yeah, okay, we didn't know
Moonrise Kingdom. He
Did he do
was
Mr. Fox?
also-
That is all I care about.
He was a voice in the Fantastic Mr. Fox, which we should watch at
Yes.
some point.
I agree.
Oh.
And he
We can do
also
that
did
next
the
week,
story of
dudes.
Isle Dog.
I'm all right. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
So this is a bonus quote episode, but it is kind of a part of Apocalypse Now. I had no other good ideas, so I was going to suggest we just went straight to Memento. But if you want to do a bonus episode for Fantastic Mr. Fox,
I would like Memento before.
That's
Fantastic Mr. Fox before Memento.
Okay.
Oh, all right. I was
Clear
gonna
us up.
say,
You know, get a
Oh, you do
little
it.
get a little happy before we go back into fucking negativity world.
That's true. That's a good point.
We got to do a little roller coaster here. We can't just have it all go fucking down the tubes.
Fantastic.
Okay, yeah, do you want to do that?
Yes. I will watch that movie once a week.
Okay,
I'll do it once
seems
a day.
excessive, but
I have the time.
yeah, right.
I'm
you don't
out
have
of
the time,
new
you
TV
liar.
shows. I just finished
Yeah.
everything. Fuck.
Oh, dude, I hate when that happens.
So do
It's the
I.
worst.
We had
Then
like
you gotta
four,
fucking fart around on some other network
2
and you
weeks
don't
ago.
like. And,
We had 4
Jeez.
TV shows that were going, and we just
Oh,
finished
you
them all.
binged them quick. Like,
Yeah.
Holy
what were
shit.
they? We haven't been watching anything. What are you
Solar
doing?
Opposites on Hulu.
Oh, is that
Okay.
good?
Yes.
Any good?
If you like Rick and
Okay.
Morty,
Yeah.
it's good. It's got
Okay.
one of the same voice actors too.
I
Yeah.
see.
We watched What We Do in the Shadows.
Okay.
We
I
watched-
started that one. It's all right.
it's okay.
Yeah.
It took like 3 episodes to get into it, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
We're watching Reservation Dogs.
No, I didn't know that one. I didn't see that.
It's also on Hulu. Pretty good.
Sounds like Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah. There's one of the kids has a Reservoir Dogs poster in his bedroom, but it's like a Native American.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
area,
I saw
and it's
I
kinda-
saw the. Is that good? It was good.
It's good. It's like a good
I'll watch
combination
that.
between like funny and really heavy drama.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
I saw the trailer for that the other day when I was watching Only Murders in the Building.
Naomi
a good
just
one.
finished the
I love
second
that
season
one.
of that one.
Oh, I love that
Oh,
one.
I
They're
heard
so
it's good. I
fucking
heard the
cute.
second
All
season's
3 of
good.
them are cute.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's a great show. They're just.
I
I
should
can't
watch that
believe Martin Short's that funny still. I mean, he's fucking hilarious. I don't know what to make of it. Anyways, what else? What else were you watching?
What else did we just finish? I finished Better Call Saul, but that was by myself.
Okay.
That
still
the
counts.
series just finished up this week. The Boys. You watched The Boys?
Yeah, I did not watch that, but I know it's Amazon's one of their best
I
shows.
watched the first episode of the latest season, and that was crazy.
Oh, you watched?
I
Dude, you
heard that
jumped
was-
into that's the
No,
craziest
I
episode.
saw season 1. I saw season 2, and they just sort of kept circling around child endangerment, which is just we're just like, all right, that's fine. I don't mind crazy whacked out shit, but I don't want to sit there trying to be stressed about somebody kidnapping someone else's
My kid. Yeah, right.
So
exactly.
yeah, I know I'm old and
No,
and
no,
fragile.
those are valid
Um,
things. I think
But it's just like
our
this is not
age.
entertaining to me at this point. But then so jumping back into the third one and watching that first episode, that was crazy.
Dude, we ordered takeout, and like 15 minutes in, the thing happens in that episode, and we had to pause it and just be like, "I need to take a break. Like, I just need to walk
That
this
bad?
off." Oh, dude, it's like
You
the
should
most
see it, TC.
disgusting
You should
thing I've
just
ever
watch
I'm
seen
not
in my
watching
life.
that.
No, it's
It's hilarious.
outrageous.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
no, I've heard people rave about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Yeah.
But don't eat while watching it because like the most disgusting
there
shit
you go.
see.
I'm not watching this.
But I
shit.
liked
Come
the
on.
first season a lot, and then the second one, didn't work
Not
out.
watching
And
that
then
shit.
so
Not
I
watching that shit.
should, yeah,
It's great.
it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. What are we talking about? Movies. I got some
I don't know
trivia.
anything but movies.
I got a little trivia. So
okay.
this commentary track, I think I covered most of it here, but so he was even an ass in the commentary track. He says that like, Eleanor got to dictate the documentary and the editing team got to put it together the way they wanted to. But I was there the entire time. Eleanor wasn't, neither were the editors. So I wanted to kind of like get here and set the record straight on a couple of things.
All right. Thank you.
Even as a 68-year-old man trying to like set the record straight, he still comes across as like an egotistical
ass.
control freak.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So not a great start.
He's still that way.
He
never changed.
says his emotion when he tries to remember the filming of this movie was just fear. He was afraid the entire time. That was his. That's like his memory.
It seems genuine.
Yeah.
It seems genuine. Yeah.
So because like he didn't know like his house was riding on it, his future was riding on it, his
Jesus.
artistic merit, like everything that made him who he was riding on it. Even though Eleanor was like, I don't care if you win, honey. He's like, fuck you, Eleanor. I need this movie to be good.
Right.
I don't care if it kills Marty.
I know. He's like, I could fucking kill somebody and you'd be on board.
And she's just like, oh, he's so artistic. I love him. You're like, dude, he doesn't love you. He doesn't love you at all. He loves his movie.
Yeah. No, he does. Or he did. Who knows?
They stick together. It's not like he's they're still married and all of that.
That's true.
Been married a long
so there
time.
you go. Yeah, they're buddies. I mean, it takes a lot to like be with a creative person, I would think.
Yeah.
Who like has no structure to anything.
But that's like she just thinks of that as like being artistic.
That's
so
him.
if you're out of control and have no idea what you're doing, and that is a good thing, then man, she could be with a lot of people, I think. But he's rich and famous, and other people think he's good too. So
but
plus.
Whatever.
So when Martin Sheen was out for 3 weeks due to the heart attack, they used Martin Sheen's brother. I don't know what his name is, but they used
They got
him
another
as
Sheen?
Yeah, they got another
Is it
Sheen.
Emilio,
climbing out of the
Emilio
woodwork.
Estevez?
No, that was his son,
no,
right?
No, that's his son, right?
Yeah.
Emilio Estevez is his son. I get all the Sheens confused.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but Emilio looks like Charlie, and apparently this other guy who's brothers with Martin looks exactly like him too, because they didn't show his face, but all like the boat shots, because it happened, they shot the movie linearly, so you can like after that. So I think that's why I think that he didn't have the heart attack right after the intro part, because they did film that towards the beginning of the shoot, and he had the heart attack towards the middle. They just edited it to make it seem like it was caused by that.
It was right. Yeah. Which it fit the story.
It makes it more
works.
interesting.
I'm not going to check the facts.
Yeah.
So,
But they didn't show his face, but they used his body shirtless, and he is the same size, shape, and skin color as Martin Sheen.
they're like aliens.
Yeah.
They're just like, they manufacture the Sheens. Can't kill them.
Dude, their kids
Fucking
look like
Christ,
them too. They all look
Yeah.
the exact same.
Yeah.
Doesn't
You
matter
do
who
fucking
the-
7 grams of cocaine in one line. Can't die. This guy's fucking on set, has a heart attack, goes back to the Philippines. No issue. We're good.
The
Like,
director
Jesus
almost killed
Christ,
his brother.
What is in their blood?
The guy almost killed his brother. The next day, the brother goes to set. The guy who almost killed him was like, "Yeah, I'll do whatever you say, bud."
Yeah, whatever, bud.
Yeah,
We're
you're
good.
very convincing, Francis.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it just goes to show you, though, that John's probably right. They were in awe of him. So, like, people really put aside most things and were like that they're okay to do or not do, right? Because they think, oh my God, I want to be a part of this genius.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how some people make their careers. It's like a gamble, right? It's like Stanley Kubrick. Well, what the fuck? Like people on set were like, "What the fuck is he doing?"
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
this is his method. I've been here on set before. Just wait. It'll
It's
be
crazy,
brilliant.
isn't it, man? Don't worry. 40 days from now, we'll still be here.
Clear out your calendar. Yeah. The worst
Yeah.
part about these movies is that they say 16 weeks was the initial one, and it went 230 something days.
Oh my God.
Insane. In the jungle.
Whew. That's a lot.
And the last thing I had was so Francis Ford Coppola is aware that he battles coming off as pretentious, and he thinks that, if you want to talk honestly about your work, it's impossible not to sound pretentious as an artist, which is kind of a fair point.
It's kind of true.
Yeah.
It's fair. But
Yeah.
he sounds pretentious as he talks about
It
not
does.
wanting to be pretentious.
Not being
But he also
pretentious.
says,
Yeah, right.
he says his justification for that, he's like, I'd rather sound pretentious than to not try at all.
Yeah, right. Which is in itself pretentious as fuck.
Francis, and
No,
that's
it's not.
what you
Some
try,
people, some people
Francis.
don't fucking care.
Yeah.
No, there's
Yeah,
no question the dude
No,
tries.
but you know the people that don't care are the ones that don't say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
think, I don't
you
think,
don't point it out and then say, hey, but
Right.
hey, big deal.
But don't you think that someone that tries as hard as him has to be pretentious?
Well, yeah, you have to believe in the value of your work. I mean, you just have to believe it's important. And so, you can always say like, well, it's just a movie, no matter what. And so.
No, when you're exploring all these things, right, quote unquote, how are you going to talk about that without sounding like a dick? There's just no way, really, right?
You're moving, you're dealing with millions and millions of dollars to make something that could also make millions and millions of dollars. It's huge.
It's
regardless of its artistic merits or not, it's a lot of money potentially being won or lost on this. So it's
the sweat and blood of hundreds of people.
Right. So
that are forgotten about as soon as it hits the editing.
Other than the actors, I suppose, right? But yeah.
Don't worry, Tom, Dick, and Harry. We got you in the credits in this little tiny part.
Should we put all the names of the extras in there? No, just put the tribe name on there. That'll be good.
No. Just lump them all into one.
Who they are?
Yeah. Right. Yeah,
they got their peanuts. They're okay.
Call it $1 a day productions. Yeah.
It's funny because it's not funny. That's
LLC. What. Yeah, it's funny because it's not funny. Anyway,
that's all I got.
Well, this was good.
Yeah.
So
I'm not even sure.
I'm glad I watched it. Thank you, Denny.
For the top. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm glad you guys wanted to watch it.
I think it does qualify because it's a blueprint.
Okay.
It's a blueprint.
Would you put it in the top 250?
I would.
Really?
I would. Yeah, because of the background scene and just seeing all of those things. Nobody thinks about those things.
Denny's made this fine point once before. I forget which movie it was. Maybe it was for Hamilton, whether it is a movie. So if we say, is this in your top 250 movies of all time?
Well, it kind of is because there's a narrative.
What's the definition of a movie?
There is a story.
Okay.
Yeah. There is a story.
It is a documentary, but isn't a documentary also a movie?
Yeah. So okay. And if you
but it's also a very narrative.
But it's not a film, John. It's not a film.
Because they definitely drove us into a certain story that actually lined up with the film.
Yeah.
So.
I agree.
But you're right. I'm just rationalizing it because I want it in the top 250.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Would you, John?
I don't.
That's a no.
I think I would. Just think about some of the shit movies we watch on this list, John. Whenever you question whether or not it should go on the list, can you think of 249 movies that are better than this documentary?
Take out Room, throw it away.
Yeah.
And then we'll throw this one in its spot.
Bam.
And we'll be
there it is.
All good. Yeah.
Okay.
No one will ever know.
Okay, John.
Okay, that sounds perfectly fine to me.
Yeah. So is that a yes?
Okay. It's a yes.
What?
I'm calling it. Mark him down as yes.
I thought we talked you into it.
Is anyone marking this down?
No, we should. Somebody's going to go through and annotate this.
Oh my God. Write a computer program to do that, John. It'll take way too long.
I mean, we can do it somehow with transcription probably, but it would be in the cloud, but it would be.
All right, the program goes to the very end. It looks for the word top 250, and then it recognizes our voices and then logs whether we say yes, no.
But there's
actually, I think that technology does exist.
I think it does, but I think it would cost money,
I think we can do that, actually.
We need
it's actually not that much. Because you're
using
a program
to recognize our voices?
Oh, no, you can do that.
No, it analyzes it. Yeah, it figures
separate.
it out.
Most of these audio programs will, like these networks can like be trained and they will differentiate voices easily.
Fucking hell, computers are crazy.
Oh yeah, it's really when I started learning about like how things are built encoding wise through like DevOps stuff, like where they use like Media Encoder, right, and some AWS products. You're just like, so these nerds are just fucking typing in zeros and ones. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're not like, I would always think that like they built something that doesn't require a guy like me with headphones on to be like, oh, I think I got it. I got Denny, I found Denny. All right, I'm going on to John now. You know, like, they got a computer that does that and it's instant. You know, it fucking blows my mind. Anyways, we can figure that out.
All right.
All right, guys.
Does this have special features next week? Can have special
next week
features.
Is
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Mr. Fox.
Let's do it.
I'm going to watch this on the friggin' projector.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great movie for the projector. Yeah.
Happy music.
I'll see if I can get the kids interested.
What? Don't even ask them. Just throw it on. It's fucking.
I know. I will.
Yeah.
Right.
They'll learn stuff about bloodhounds and gophers and badgers and stuff. You know?
Animals.
Animals.
That's the group.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. See you later.
Talk to you guys later.
Take care, guys.